You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
First season of The Twilight Zone, in a word, is amazing. It's a great way to start the series if you've never seen The Twilight Zone before, despite its lower ratings when it first aired back in 1959. First season alone has 36 episodes, making it one of the longest seasons, though not by much. The first season has a lot of emotion to it, and it's home to some of my favorite episodes. The season opens up with the episode, Where Is Everybody? What I really like about this episode is the mystery that surrounds it. We see a man walking around looking for people, but it appears that the town is there, but the people have simply vanished. Second episode is The One for the Angels. It's a nice story about a salesman who only wants to make one more sales pitch, or one for the angels. It's too bad Death comes to him telling him it's time to, go. He's able to trick Death into giving him more time, but it does come at a price. This is a great example of the morals that each character has, and it's really great to see how they come into terms with Death. The fourth episode is a 16mm shrine. An older actress spends her days watching her old movies and lusting and wishing she was in them again. She lives detached from the rest of the world, and all she wants is to be left alone with her movies. This episode is great for showing off the mental state of some of the episodes of The Twilight Zone, and really shows off the crisp acting. Walking Distance is the fifth episode that is a favorite of many. In this episode, a man finds himself traveling back in time into his childhood neighborhood. It's a really emotional episode where he tries to go back and be a part of his past again, but he learns he can't be clinging on to the past and instead must move forward. The escape clause is a perfect example of the irony that dwells within the Twilight Zone. In it, a man who is afraid of everything sells his soul to the devil in exchange for immortality. There's no catch, no nothing. It's a straightforward and simple deal. After the deal, the man is overjoyed at not having to be afraid of anything, and of course, tests his immortality. In his descent into madness from his new gift, he actually commits a crime. He finds it thrilling that they'll most likely give him the death sentence, and finds it wonderful he won't be hurt one bit from it. The thing is though, they instead give him life in jail and is forced to live forever in a cell. Now that's fantastic writing. The Lonely is another very emotional episode, and a very interesting one as well. In it, a man is in solitary confinement, only it's not in a cell, but in his own empty planet. Every so often a crew comes by and gives him some supplies, and usually the ship captain slips the man something to keep him busy, such as car parts and books. This time, however, the captain gives him a female robot. At first, the man isn't too keen on the idea, but soon it's apparent and obvious that he holds very dearly every moment he spends with her. Time Enough at Last is another all-around favorite. It has crypt acting and such strong emotion, along with everything else that makes up the Twilight Zone. In it is a man who loves to read, but sadly never has the time or place to do so. Literally, everywhere he is, he cannot have one moment to himself to read, and you really do feel bad for this guy. One day, he hides away in a vault only to have the world wipe out by the time he comes out. Everything he ever knew and everyone he ever knew is gone and dead. He is the only survivor and he is absolutely crushed. This all changes, however, when he finds a library full of books still in excellent condition. He becomes overjoyed, almost maddened really, by the fact that he'll have something to do forever. He even plans out what books he'll read in the next month and what year he's going to do it in. The Third from the Sun is another interesting episode in which two men try to escape from their dying world and head for a new one. Not a lot of things happen in this episode really, but their escape is very dramatic and you do question what they'll do next and where they'll be going. Finally, the 15th episode, I Shot an Arrow into the Air, is a great one. A ship lands on what appears to be an asteroid and four men must find a way to survive. One of them dies soon after they land and the other three must decide what they should do. With strong heat and a limited water supply, two of the men go out to see what they can find. Only one of them comes back, but the other has the idea that he killed them to increase the chances of his survival based on his attitude earlier. The ending to the episode has such a feeling that completes it and helps establish what is the Twilight Zone, like all the episodes I have listed. The Twilight Zone is a state of mind, and its residents must decide what actions to take. These are just my personal choices to watch for the first 15 episodes of Season 1, and I don't really want to give away the ending for those who haven't really seen it. It's definitely worth a watch, all of them. And I think it's safe to say that we haven't even scratched the surface of the Twilight Zone, and next time we'll be taking a look more into Season 1.